This whole area is super crowded, but we welcome you. Welcome or welcome back. Today we are going to talk about paper. Paper is one of the three components that will make your writing behave. I mean, you can go with any paper you want, but some paper will perform better with your fountain pens and inks. So specifically, we are going to talk about Kunisawa. They are a Japanese-based stationery brand. I think maybe for 4 years I have been using them, not since the beginning, but when I started using them, they have used another paper than what they use today. I started using them because their paper was beautiful. It was super smooth. And I have this paper right here in this old notebook that I keep in my traveler's notebook. They used to use pacified paper. It's a ivory cream sort of paper that is super smooth, and even pens with feedback on their nib would not really feel feedbacky or even scratchy on this paper. It was just amazing. And even the swatches, if you swatch inks, lay down the ink heavily, it will bleed through a little bit. But on this paper, which is 80 GSM pacified paper, there's very little bleed through. There are ghosting, absolutely ghosting. You cannot expect anything else unless you're using very thick paper. But this right here, it was amazing. But then, not too long ago, those who produced the pacified paper stopped. The pacified paper is no longer in production. So earlier this year, we got some new paper. I think it was this spring where I got this notebook. They do have a variation of notebooks, but this was a new kind. This is called the Find Edge. Maybe because of the edge here, not sure. All the Find Edge have some foiling to the edges. I bought this locally and I paid quite a lot of money for it. I was told that the paper would be fountain pen friendly, and I was super excited. I believe this paper is called Kunisawa. And yeah, as you can see here, this is the other side, and it bleeds. This here I used an Esterbrook with a fine nib, and even that was bleeding a little bit. This was a Bennu with a fine nib. The nib is slightly broader and the ink is slightly wetter, so this is why there's a difference. But I was honestly not impressed. I'm sorry, Kunisawa, but I was not. And here I did a swatch sample, and it's super flat, and it actually bled terribly. when I was swatching this, I could literally see the ink just soak through the paper. And the paper is smooth and it's nice to write on. But this paper, as a fountain pen user for most things, I did not really like this. So that was the first generation of Kunisawa Find Edge. And a few weeks back, Kunisawa reached out to me to ask me to test some new paper they considered using for their second generation. Of course, I accepted because I love testing paper. I love all kinds of paper as long as they work well with fountain pens. So I did that, and yeah, I gave them thumbs up. Literally. And here is the result. Oh, sorry about this. Yesterday, this arrived at my doorstep. This is the second generation of the Find Edge, and they have 6 colors. You have this minty green, it's beautiful. You have a darker green. Not sure if the color shows really well. I need to supplement with my table lamp because it's getting darker here where I live in this season. And you have this red. I don't recall the original Japanese-ish names for the colors right now. But if you look them up, you will find them. There's a blue, and we have a black one. And there's a beige one. So on all Kunisawa products, you will find their logo. It's the 3-legged crow, which has a nice history to it. I recommend looking it up. All their notebooks are really minimalistic in style, and it fits me perfectly. At least I wish to be minimalistic, and I like the minimalistic look for some things. And these I find to be super beautiful. Kunisawa sent me these for the purpose of a review, so that's your disclaimer. But I have done the testing with inks and fountain pens, so all opinions are purely my own. We have an agreement. They may like it, they may not, but we are going to see how this paper performs. So they were actually able to make a deal with Yamamoto paper, and for these notebooks they are using the Sheep Bonds cloud paper. I do believe it's 70 something GSM. I should have double checked before I started recording this video, but it's a white paper. I don't think I have, oh wait, we can compare with this, so you can see the difference. Cream against white. One small thing I will note, that it's not bothering me per se, but I do prefer my dots or grids or whatever line guiding there is to be a little bit softer, a little bit lighter in color. It's not too dark, so it's not going to bother me. But, and while doing the test, I was not really bothered at all, so it works very well. But I kind of wish they were a little bit lighter. I have prepared parts of the ink testing, just so we don't have a 4-hour long video, because no one needs that. So I did some sampling to begin with back here, and I am going to do some swatching on camera so you can see. I have used, in this order, the Waldman Titan with a medium nib, the Monteverde Super Mega with a fine nib. I have the Vansher Dream Pen in titanium. It has a fine nib. It's inked with Noodler's ink, and the ink is very wet, so it will blow up the writing a little bit. And we have the Platinum 3776 Yun with a broad nib. We have a Laban 325 Cambridge with a fine nib. This is very fine and a little bit of a wet writer actually. And we have the Naveler Nautilus in Stylophora Berry. This has a fine nib, but it's a little bit wet. And we have a Kilk with an extra fine gold nib. It's also a little bit juicy. And we have a Naveler Original Plus with a stub, 1.1 stub, that I decided to put a chromo shading ink, so we can see that on the paper. And then I have used this Platinum Preppy that I'm not afraid of to put in some Noodler's Bay State Grape. I have never used this before. I've only swatched it, but if you know fountain pens and ink, then you know Noodler's and their Bay State inks. They can cause some issues. This might not be as terrible as the Bay State Blue, but I'm a little bit afraid that they will stay in my pens, or I spill something and then I have this color on whatever I spill on forever. And I kind of don't want that to happen. But let's get on to some swatching. For my swatching, I use this little glass stirrer. I find that to be quite nice, and it leaves quite a lot of ink on the paper. Just a quick, simple swatch there. I also have prepared this same, including all the swatching, on 2 other types of paper. So we are going to do some comparisons with papers that most people already are familiar with. I chose the Veringul Mature because of it has some really good shading properties. If you can see that. Try not to tip over the bottle. And this is the Monteverde Azure Noir. Monteverde, in my experience, are very wet inks. So that's nice for some real paper testing. And here we have the Noodler's Heart of Darkness. I recently got a sample from a friend. I am, in all honesty, not a fan of Noodler's ink, but I do like how black this one is. It's a little bit wet for my liking. But if I'm being completely honest, while the Platinum Chokuro is super nice, it's really really black, it's a little bit too dry for my taste, and I don't like to put it in broader nibs because I like fine nibs, you know, just to be able to use it. But we'll see. Here we have Octopus Fluids. It's one of their very sheening inks. So we can look at some sheening properties. This is called Gin. It's very beautiful. It's purple with some yellow golden sheen. And then we have Colorverse Iris Nebula. It's a shimmering ink, so we gotta shake that up a little. And if I didn't already tell you that I've already done some swatching and such, you have the proof right here. Already spilled some ink. And I chose Pilot Iroshizuku Yamabudo sorry, because it's a bright ink. It's a little bit wet, but not too wet, but it also have a little bit of sheening properties. So we can have a look at that. A heavy sheener and a slight sheener, because why not? There are probably a lot of things I could have tried and tested, but we have some variation at least. And then we have another Octopus Fluids. It's from their Baroque line. This behaves very well. It's not wet, it's not dry, it's right there in the middle. This is called Sepia. And Sailor Haha. Like chromo shading right there. Almost done. But I know that the Bay State grape is not going to behave really well, so I'm going to just put a piece of paper behind there so it's not bleeding through. Okay, fingers crossed I don't tip this over. Can already see some feathering, and with the Platinum Preppy in 03 nib, which is, I don't know if it's fine or extra fine, but still it's a Japanese nib, so it's quite narrow. and it was feathering terribly. Like you can see here, this is one of the reasons I don't like the Noodler's ink. I mean, I know some people swear to them and they make them work, but yeah, they are not for me. Okay, so more ink on my fingers. And then I am going to take another ink that is on the wetter side. This is Monteverde Blueberry Muffin from their Sweet Life collection. And I'm going to use this nib here. It's similar to the Speedball nibs in the B series or the ornament nibs from Browse. So it has a rounded tip, which makes a broad line. Okay. So I feel that the nib and all the pens glides very well on this paper. It's quite smooth. Okay. Going to dip this one more time. Okay, there we go. So this nib holder, I just love it. It's from Sepia Accessories in Turkey. Very beautiful. Okay. So there's that. And while this is drying a little bit, let's have a look at these. Going to set this a little bit aside. And we have, this is the Midori paper that comes in the Traveler's Notebook inserts. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this paper. It's very fountain friendly, 80 GSM paper. As you can see, Noodler's feathering a little bit. Not too much on the writing there, but a little, just slightly. All the other ones very well behaved. You have some sheen with the octopus fluids there. A little bit of sheen with the Heart of Darkness. Monteverde. Slight feathering there. As I said, it's quite wet. Some sheen here with the Yamabudo. And the Sailor Haha is just beautiful. I don't know if you can see properly. And this notebook here is the Hobonichi A5 with 52 GSM Tomo River paper. So that's quite fountain friendly. This is a notebook I bought before the Tomo River 2025 issues, let's say. I don't have any experience with those issues, but so gin, heavy sheener there, a little bit more sheen with the Yamabudo, and actually the Noodler's Bay State grape is performing very well behaved on Tomo River. I'm still not convinced because I like to use a variation of papers, but if you're only using Tomo River, then I guess Noodler's is fine. The Heart of Darkness, here also the lettering is a little bit broader because the ink is so wet. So yeah, still not all the way dry, but in a couple of swatches here you can see slight feathering. I mean, this is a heavy amount of ink here too, and of course the Noodlers. Otherwise most seem quite well behaved, even the Monteverde, that is very wet, so I am not too worried about this paper. And let's look at the back. Oh, that Noodlers. Yeah, the Noodlers is actually the only one that is bleeding through, and that is very promising. So no bleed through, not even with the swatches. There are ghosting, and for some of it a lot of ghosting. I'm trying not to lay this paper all the way down. Noodlers here, and even this, no bleed through. You have the Monteverde Azure Noir that has bled through a little bit here, and the Octopus Fluids starting to bleed through a little bit here on the swatch. And then we have Noodlers. Like I said, this is Midori 80 GSM. And Tomo River 52 GSM. So this is more like what I had expected to see with this Yamamoto paper in the Kunisawa notebook. But actually Tomo River comes off a little bit worse with the bleed through on the swatches, and also on this writing sample with the dip pen. But to me this is normal. This is nothing I worry about because it's so much ink that gets put down on the paper. So this is what to expect, basically. So yes, what do you think? Not the best lighting here, but this is what we have to work with today. And today I am alone, so I'm taking this opportunity to just record the video. These notebooks have 192 pages, just the typical standard. It comes with a bookmark right here, all of them. It has a, let's say, semi hardcover. It's quite soft, but it's not soft. It does not come with a pocket in the back as a lot of notebooks, but it does have the three-legged crow again. I think it's so cute. And it does not come with a elastic closure option, but I think the notebook is beautiful. And something else that makes it very beautiful is that they lay flat. It's like completely flat. This one is the first time I'm opening it. I haven't trained it or anything, and it's just bend it a little and there it is. Yeah, what more to expect from good paper, excellent notebooks. I definitely look forward to do some journaling in all 6 of mine. Maybe I'll take one for something else so I can show you more later. But what about you? Will you try them? They are recently out of production, but I do know that there is a load on the way to the European distributor, and hopefully they will go out to the shops soon. For the US, I'm not sure when they will be available, but they are available directly from Kunisawa. So if you want to get them, I believe that they are $20-something. I don't remember exactly on the cent, but 25 maybe. So I don't think that's a bad price at all. The one that I paid for, I bought locally, so there are some import fees and all of that the stores are trying to cover, so they actually make something from the sales. But otherwise, that's not a terrible price. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see each other again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.